If you're gonna choose murder, choose premeditated. Hey everyone, I'm Jay.
And I'm Sean.
And we watched a movie.
Sure we did.
It's called Bliss, and it's newly available on Amazon Prime. So before we get right into this, Sean, close your eyes and stick out your hand, and we're going to show at the same time thumbs up or thumbs down whether we like this movie. Yeah, you gotta put this on. Okay, thank you. We disagreed.
You like this movie?
I did like this movie.
Okay.
You did not like this movie.
No.
I had a feeling that might be the case, obviously. So this is going to be a fun review, guys.
Yes, it is.
So you have to decide for yourself whether this movie is for you, because it is going to be a divisive film.
It is.
So Bliss, starring Salma Hayek and Owen Wilson, writer-director Mike Cahill. What is this movie about? I don't know.
Drugs.
Again, this movie is going to be divisive. There's going to be the people who are black and white
Yeah.
and really just can't accept things being ambiguous or interesting.
There's no ambiguity here. If it was ambiguous, that might be a different thing.
Oh, I see. Okay, so here's the plot. Such as it is. So Owen Wilson plays Greg. We meet Greg when he is having a bad day. He is divorced, he's living in a motel, he's kind of has a estranged relationship with his kids these days. He just gets fired from his job. And in fact, when he is in the office getting fired by his boss, something surprising happens.
Very surprising.
The boss winds up dead.
Yes. At Owen Wilson's hands. Or head.
More or less, yeah. So, like any reasonable person, he hides the body and takes off to the bar across the street. Which, I mean, disclaimer, not the best plan. Okay? If you're gonna choose murder, choose premeditated, because this other stuff is ridiculous. Like, really, I like a plan. I like going in knowing how things are gonna turn out.
Fair.
Yeah, I thought you might like that. Just from a lawyer.
Yeah, it's true. Yes, that's what we encourage with all our clients.
I thought so. It must have
Premeditation.
been something like that, right?
Yeah.
But in the bar across the street, he meets Isabel, played by Salma Hayek. And she tells him, basically, not to sweat it, because none of this is real.
Correct.
None of this is real. And she gives him some pretty good examples. Like, she's got powers.
She does.
She can make stuff happen.
She can knock things over. It's true.
Yes. So basically, she tells him that she has more or less made this world. This world exists because of her. And that they are two of very few real people in the world. The rest are fakes.
Yeah.
Including his boss, who is now fallen out of a window.
Right. Because of the powers.
Yes. I mean, it does tidy the whole thing up. You know, suicide is much better than Greg having murdered him.
Yeah.
Really gets Greg on the innocent side of things.
It does eventually, yes.
As long as nobody notices the big bump on his head.
There's going to be a bump on his head when he fell out the window.
Okay, true. That is true. If there's any head left at all. I'll give you that. That's probably all I'm going to give you today, Sean. So.
Oh, great. Well, I'll enjoy it.
So basically, she takes him back to her place, which, you know,
Yeah.
she's not homeless.
It's a step down from the motel.
It is. She's living off the grid under a bridge. She's got some lovely tarps strung up.
She does. She's put some more effort into it.
She has, yes. And she's basically telling him that they are the only ones that are real, everything else is fake, and they go on this bender together of just enjoying their superpowers and, you know, screwing all of the fake people.
And also, by the way, their superpowers really only come into effect when they're taking drugs. Or crystals.
Crystals, that's right. Yeah. So she also does not really like him referring to his old life. And he's got a daughter who's just graduating college, who is particularly, I think, lonesome for her dad, still wants to reach out, still wants to find him, even though he's been sort of not in communication for who knows how long. But the daughter is out looking for him a lot.
She is. She's trying to reel him back into the fake world, as Salma Hayek would say.
She does not like that.
No, she doesn't.
Because the daughter is fake.
Yep. And trying to take Owen Wilson away from her. Her new best friend.
Right. So basically, she is going to make it so they take some blue crystals together.
Because the other ones were orange. That
right.
give them their powers.
Amber.
Okay, fair.
That's my one concession. Hi, buddy.
Oh, you can have more than one. I'm not limiting them.
All right. Play however you want, son.
I will.
So the blue crystals are extractors, and so they get out of this world, which is a simulation, and back into their own real world, where they are both scientists. And this simulation is Salma Hayek's creation. And she basically, they live in this utopia. They basically live in a utopia where everything is super great thanks to science and technology. In fact, too great. So she's made this simulation that you can go in to a world that looks depressingly like ours and like live a non-glamorous life just so you can
appreciate what
you have. That's right. Because when you don't have any bad, you can't appreciate the good. So this simulation is a way for you to experience the bad and see how other people might have lived and how lucky you are. Now, when Owen Wilson is extracted, they have not taken the appropriate dosage of blue crystals. So he loses his memory. He doesn't really remember his life in this utopia. But he is astounded by the utopia. Astounded by the utopia. As you would be, I suppose. Yeah, who wouldn't love utopia? Something wrong with you if you don't love it.
It's all parties and pools and the Mediterranean. It's wonderful.
It's gorgeous, yes. And it does feel a little familiar to him because you may remember he has been drawing this place for years, getting in trouble in his real life, which now turns out to be the fake life, for having all of these fantasies and for drawing a thing he never understood until he sees it and it's his home.
And it's real.
And it's real. So, like Sean hinted, there is definitely two ways to read this movie. Because maybe it's a sci-fi movie, a sci-fi romance where these two researchers have created this alternate universe to go and get some perspective. Or maybe the whole thing is sort of a metaphor for addictions.
And not so much of a metaphor as just a really long trip or a series of them.
Okay. So
for weeks at a time.
So you think the whole thing is him just dreaming when he's on drugs?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And I felt like I understood. I think it was trying to be ambiguous, but I felt like, nope. I made up my mind very early.
Okay.
That he was an addict, and this was where he was going with his life, as long as he was around Isabel. I mean, not just.
But is there a real Isabel?
Yeah, I think there was a real Isabel.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, they never say drugs. They never say addict. Nothing.
No, they don't.
They're very careful to scrub all of that language away.
Yes, they are.
And in fact, the only hint of it we see is at the very beginning of the movie when he tries to renew a prescription. Those are the only drugs we see in the movie. And yet, when his daughter is looking for him, it feels very much like she is looking for an addict. Even though, again, when she talks to her brother, her mom, they never say he's an addict. But they allude to there's got to be some reason they're looking on the streets for their dad. Yeah. And these are not living on the brink of poverty people.
No.
So, what's the problem here? Of course, maybe the daughter's not real. Maybe this whole thing is just a simulation to get him to appreciate his life back home. No matter what, both worlds are bleeding together.
They are.
Things are falling apart. His reality is going to be pierced one way or the other. And no matter which way you slice the bread, you didn't like the sandwich, it seems.
No, it's not a bad movie, but I just...
I mean, you thumbs downed it.
I did thumbs down
You
it.
thumbs downed it.
So it's not a great movie in my view.
Okay.
I just, because it wasn't ambiguous for me, I had already made up my mind. I feel like that defeats the exercise of this movie.
Okay.
It's supposed to be ambiguous, I can tell that. I did not get any of that ambiguity. I knew what was happening.
Okay.
And obviously I can be wrong. But I didn't feel like it was even up for debate.
Okay. And so then how does Bill Nye the Science Guy fit in?
How does Bill Nye the Science Guy fit in? Well, clearly he is just someone that Owen Wilson has seen, who he's incorporated into this trip fantasy of this better life.
I see. All right. So Sean's lack of imagination
Yep,
strikes again.
my literalness
Yes.
does defeat this movie.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And it makes me so angry all the time. Like, just, why are you like this? Why?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. And yet you have all of the imagination in the world if they were comic book characters.
That's true.
You can always believe in that somehow.
I would believe that they had powers and they were from the future. It'd be very easy for me to. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But tell you what,
What?
a superhero movie would not be ambiguous about any of that.
Okay.
They would not have me guess. I would just know that it was real. Yeah.
Okay. You would just know that it was real.
Yeah, because they're telling me. Right.
Right.
So if they don't give me explicit direction in the movie, I'm just gonna have to imply it. And this is how it turned out.
Please do not leave any room for user error. Well, you know what? I like a clever sci-fi movie. This one thinks maybe it's a little too clever because it is trying a little too hard to keep things ambiguous. And it's like, hey, do what you have to do, but be honest about it. Be truthful. You know, you don't have to tell lies. You don't have to scrub language. We can still make up our own minds. But I did like this. I liked Owen Wilson and I liked Salma Hayek in this. A little out of both of their wheelhouses, I would say.
Yes, I would agree. This is different than they usually do. It's not a rom-com.
No, but it kind of is.
Kind of.
It's kind of like a supernatural romance.
Sort of. And there is definitely a fish out of water element. Part 2.
A couple of fishes out of water. Or a couple of addicts on Skid Row.
One or the other.
You know. Yeah. Sometimes it's fun.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's cops in jail and blowjobs and, you know.
Fun.
Yeah. I meant prostitution. Not just,
know.
I mean, you're having a whale of a time. Good for you, buddy. Not going to be ambiguous about that one, eh?
Boy.
But yes, I mean, it is a little bit heartbreaking, I think, no matter which way you choose to interpret this movie. If the real world scenario where Owen Wilson is a father and an addict who has lost everything to his addiction, and his daughter is always looking for him, and he seems to lose time.
Yes, he does.
Like, he's not even able to keep track of weeks sometimes, losing them.
Yep.
So, you know, she just really just keeps wanting him to choose better and he can't.
Or the other side of it.
Yeah, what's that?
Well, where the future was real and everyone is just like, should be happy, but they're just overdosed on bliss. So they have to create a simulation of, our miserable lives in order to really even themselves out.
Well, either way, it is a commentary on how we chase bliss and how we maybe shouldn't. We should just deal with our bosses and our dumb kids without any pharmaceutical help whatsoever.
Sounds pretty boring. Yeah.
But anyway, some literal-minded people can't take,
A little
bliss.
imagination.
Yeah. Short your circuits.
It did.
Gosh. Why do I even try with this one?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Anyways, so you can judge for yourself.
Yeah.
Which one of us are you? One of us is a stick on the mud.
Yeah, there's a right answer and a wrong answer here, that's for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
sure. There is.
Yeah, there is.
So go watch it. It's on Amazon Prime. It's called Bliss. Let us know whether you're a stick in the mud too, or whether you have an open mind.
Yep, see, there was a right answer.
No. I mean, that's your judgment that you're putting on those two labels, Sean.
You got me there.
Well, I have an open mind.
Very neutral. Yeah, very neutral.
So
Well done.
happy watching, everyone. Bye.